All right, daily break and run. So today we're doing straight pull, and actually we're going to do some more straight pull. I'm going to play more of that. Uh, Want to talk a little bit here about the patterns that I'm looking at. So my goals when I play straight pull are to first get control of the cue ball, get it where I want to. Second, to get everything broken loose, and then to play down to the end patterns. So here, I've broken on the shot on the 14 or the ball on the side I just shot. Uh, that was to break out the 15-10, get those a little clear of each other. And so what I'm looking at here is how do I break this rack? How do I get this open? Now the 11 ball is a key or a safety ball. What that means is that if I run into the rack um, from the side that I'm on right now, that 11 ball will be available for a follow-on shot, and you always want to leave a safety ball. So you saw me looking at the two. The two ball does go in that corner. It's tight. It's about 3/4 of a pocket that I've got on that shot. Um, but it's a good one to break out the rack. So I played the 10 in the side to get back on the 2. Now I'm going to run into the rack, but I actually end up taking the 4 to do the rack because I've got a really good angle for it. And you can see there, the 11 ball keeps me out of trouble. Okay, so I've gotten them broken up now. Uh, I've got the 5 ball needs to be moved out of the way. And other than that, this rack is open. Once the 5 ball is moved out of the way, this rack's wide open. Um, I have two potential break balls. I have the 8 or the 6. Now, I don't like breaking that side pocket where the 8 ball is. I don't like that as a break shot because you have to come off 2 rails and into the rack, and inevitably I'll get stuck in the rack. So um, I'm going to use the 6 as my break, and I'm going to use the 3 as my key ball to get on it. So here I'm going to roll the 9 forward. Now I've got the 5. The last 4 balls were all played to get me on this 5. Now I'm just going to get the cue ball back out to the center of the table. I've got the 8 if I get in trouble. I want to shoot the 2 next. But if I get in trouble, I've got the 8. I've also got the 13 here. Although I'm looking at it, my pattern here is 2 in the side, 8 in the side, 7 in the top right corner, 13 to set up on the 3, and then roll forward off the 3 to get my leave on the 6. So what I'm looking for when I'm at this part is, okay, I need to get, I work backwards. 6 is my break, 3 is the ball that's going to get me on that break on the side that I want to be on. And then the 13 is the easiest way to get on the 3. So I use the 8 to line up for the 7 with a little bit of angle. Actually, a little bit more than I wanted, but a little bit of angle to get on the 3. Now on the 13, I can just come up a little bit for the 3 so I can roll straight forward. Um, and to be sure that I get past the rack here, I'm going to go ahead and run the cue ball against the side rail. I don't want to try to baby this and end up with the cue ball stuck in the rack. So I roll it forward to the side rail and back out for my break shot. I really don't want any steeper angle than what I've got right there. Okay, so uh, on this, because the 8's or because the 6 is so far on the other side, I know I'm only going to clip the 11 at best. So I'm going to use top right English to get the cue ball out from underneath the rack. When the 6 is that far down, I don't want to try to go 3 rails because I'll end up potentially hitting that side rail and just spinning back under the rack. So I want to make sure I get out to the middle of the table. Okay, now I've got the cue ball's fine. I need to get to a breakout. And I've only got 3 balls to do it. The 4 does not go. The 14 doesn't go. I really don't have any way to break this out close to the rack, so I'm going to have to play, and I'm straight in on the 8, so I can't just break it. Well, I'm almost straight in, so I can't just break it from there. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to roll forward, and I'm going to have to play the 7 in the side, come off 2 rails, and go into the rack. Now the good news here is that 11 has popped out a little bit downwards, and you saw me looking at where I was going to hit the rack. The cue ball is going to bump the 11, and the 11 is going to come off the 13 towards the corner pocket, so I should have a leave after this. Unfortunately, I don't get much of a break. So now I look at the rack again. There's still nothing close to the rack to get a break with. There's a couple of weird combinations in there, but for the most part, this rack is just, they kind of call this the circle of death because everything is blocking everything. So you see me now, I'm figuring out where I need to be to make the 2 ball and run into the rack from there. And I'm going to have to do this with no safety, no anything. So to get that leave on the 2, what I need to do is make the 11. The 11's my only shot here. Otherwise, I would leave it and use it to break with. But I don't have a choice here. I have to break. I have to shoot the 2. So I'm going to shoot the 2. I'm going to roll up for the 13, and then depending on the angle that I get on the 13, I'm either going to shoot it in the side and drift out for the 2, or I'm going to shoot it up in the top corner and roll out a little bit for the 2. So here's the shot on the 11. And I get exactly wrong. I'm on the wrong side of the 13 for the top corner, so I'm going to have to play this in the side and drift over for the 2. This is a very, very touchy shot. The speed has to be absolutely perfect to be able to make that 13 and hold the cue on the cue needs to be on the side of the 2 that the 13's on. So I'm going to hit this really, really soft and try to hold it. I don't. Okay, so my shot here, the only shot I have at breaking this rack up is to make the 2 in the corner and to come off the side rail, bottom rail, and up into the rack. Touchy shot. Playing against an opponent, I would roll this 2 in nice and easy, and then I would shoot straight into the 5, let the 1 ball stop the 5. The 1 ball runs into the 15, the 15 runs into the rail on the bottom, and the cue ball sticks to the 5. So I would play safe from here. By the way, these straight pool break and runs, if it's a daily break and run, it's going to typically be 1 rack, maybe a couple of balls extra. It's not going to be a big run. I want to keep these fairly short. If I do get a big run, it'll be a Sunday straight pool. All right, so here we're going to hit this with top right English, and we're going to hit it hard because we've got to run off 2 rails and into a rack with no safety ball. And I just miss it. And that'll wrap it up for today's daily break and run. We'll see you next time.